Hi, welcome. I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk and welcome to PhotoshopLightroomTV, another fantastic episode, spring episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV. Welcome once again. Thank you for watching PhotoshopLightroomTV. This is another episode with some exciting tips, tricks and tutorials in Lightroom and Photoshop, maybe Adobe Bridge as well, and I've got a tip of the week for you as well. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the last week's episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV. Now let me start a new one with some information. If you're looking into getting some Photoshop or Lightroom training, you can get Adobe Certified training. If you go to Adobe website, there's a part of Adobe website called Adobe Partner Finder. On Adobe Partner Finder, you can look for Adobe authorized training centers or Adobe certified instructors. So you get Adobe certified training from experts. And I was recently looking at an Adobe Partner Finder here in the UK, and I've noticed a very interesting thing. I was looking at the Adobe trainings, and apparently, when you look for Adobe Photoshop Lightroom trainers, I'm actually the only one that has certification in all the Lightroom exams from the Adobe certified instructors. Okay. Now let me show you how to find the Adobe Partner Finder and how to search through Adobe certified training. Let's have a look on it. Alright, here I am on Adobe Partner Finder page, adobe.com/cold-fusion blah blah blah. I think it's just easier if you just navigate to Adobe page, adobe.com, and search for Adobe Partner Finder, or just use the search engine to search for the Partner Finder as well. Now I'm on the Adobe Partner Finder page. Now I've got two options, technology partners and training providers. I'm going to use the training providers. I'll scroll down a bit, and now you can select the Adobe product. I'm going to search for, let's say, Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. Then you can select the country as well. I'm going to search for United Kingdom. Okay, and I'm going to leave that. I'm going to search for the whole UK. I'll just click on search. This will search through Adobe database, trying to find all the Adobe authorized training centers, as well as Adobe certified instructors that are certified with Adobe training. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll down. Now you find the training centers and then Adobe instructors as well. Okay. Now just to show you what information you can find in here, I'm just going to open my page in here, and you can find out what products is this trainer certified with. So I got Lightroom 1 and Lightroom 2. There is no Lightroom 3 recertification exam released yet, but we may expect it quite soon. And then Dreamweaver, Flash, Photoshop, it only shows the recent certifications, doesn't show all of them. For example, I'm certified with Photoshop CS3, Dreamweaver CS3, Flash CS3 as well, but it doesn't show them anymore. It just shows the two last certifications on here. And you can also contact the trainers or training centers straight from in here. You can send an email or visit the website. So I can click on here and open my website for the training. Okay, and that's how you find Adobe Partner Finder. Let's get back to studio. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in a web browser this time about Adobe Partner Finder on Adobe website. That's how you can get Adobe certified training, which also comes with a certificate with Adobe logo on it. So there's great information, lots of information in here. Okay, now let's jump into Lightroom. Okay. Now you may not be aware that Lightroom 3, well, it was actually Lightroom 2, but now in Lightroom 3 is so much easier. You can shoot tethered from your camera straight into Lightroom. This is a really, really good feature. You can connect your camera to your computer via USB port, for example, or wireless if you prefer, and you can shoot from your camera straight into Lightroom. This is amazing. And images will appear automatically within the Lightroom, within the library module. Okay. This is a really great feature. It was possible to do it with Lightroom 2, but with Lightroom 3 it's so much easier. For example, I'm a Canon user, and with Lightroom 2, to make it all work, you would need to install all the software that came with your camera, which means loads of applications and like 600 or 700 megabytes that needs to be installed of the software on your computer. With Lightroom 3, I don't have to do anything. I just plug in my camera into the USB port and just start shooting within Lightroom, without any additional software, without any messing around, quick and easy. Now let me show you how you can do it inside Lightroom 3. Okay, here I am inside of Lightroom, and I'm going to connect my camera to the computer using the USB cable. It's connected. Now I'm going to turn it on to show you how you can shoot tethered straight into Lightroom from your camera. Now the camera is turned on now. Now the system should detect it in just a moment. Okay. Here you go, Canon EOS 7D. Now it's connected. It shows me space available on the memory card. I'm going to close that. And now in Lightroom, I'm going to jump into File, Tethered Capture, and Start Tethered Capture. Now here's a number of options here. You can name the session. This will create a new folder within your catalog, within the hard drive. You can also change the name. I'm going to leave it on a default. And destination, my pictures folder, metadata. I'm going to add my metadata in here. I'll just press OK. Now you should see this window here that shows you the name of your camera. Okay, you can move it anywhere you want on your screen, and it shows you data from the camera. So ISO 400, aperture 5.6. I'm going to change that. Okay, aperture 9. Right. It only shows the aperture, not the shutter speed, because I'm on the AV mode, aperture priority mode. I'm going to set the aperture to 5.6, my camera. I'm using ISO 400, but you can see I can easily change it here as well. Okay, ISO 1000. Okay, I'm just going to change it back to 400, and I'm going to take the first photo here. Okay, and in just a few seconds you should see it appear within Lightroom. It will take a few seconds to render it because I'm shooting raw and this is a big image. I'm just going to double click on it to jump into the loop view. And I'm just going to move that here. And that's the image. Okay, now let's take one more. Okay, now the image will appear automatically here within the library module here in Lightroom, and it should automatically display on the screen. Okay, now what I could do is I could minimize all the panels using Shift Tab, and I could see the image really big on the screen straight within Lightroom. Now this is really good. Now let me show you another nice feature. Okay, I'm just going to put my camera here. You can take images using the Lightroom. I can use this button here to capture a photograph. I've just taken a photograph using the button on the screen within Lightroom, not on the camera. So you can easily put your camera on a tripod and manage it from within Lightroom. Now I don't use the tripod at the moment, that's why the image is not straight, but you get the idea, you know what you can do in here. Now this is a great feature within Lightroom 3, where you can shoot tethered straight into your Lightroom from within the camera. I hope you enjoyed it. That's it for this video here. Okay, it's time for tutorial number 3, and after the tutorial we're going to have a tip of the week as usual. I've got a fantastic tip of the week for you in Lightroom, but first let's have another tutorial. Now before we go jump into another tutorial, this will be in Adobe Photoshop. I want to point you to my blog, PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk. That's the address. On this blog you'll find loads of information. I gather information from all different websites, different pages, different locations to bring you all the best in photography, Photoshop, Lightroom and Bridge. So that's PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk. I post daily, Monday to Friday, so every day you find loads of information, videos, tips, tricks, tutorials and so on. Alrighty, okay. Now if you want to find out about more about my training, my courses, go to saitraining.co.uk. That's where you find all about Adobe Certified courses that I run. Now let's jump into Photoshop. And the tutorial I'm going to share with you this week is the tutorial on using clipping masks to put the image inside of a text. So you have a text filled with an image, and the image will be editable. You can easily move the image around, resize it, rotate it, distort it, and so on. Okay, we'll use clipping mask for that. So let's have a look at that in Photoshop. Okay, here I am inside Adobe Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how to use the text filled with an image, with a graphic inside, to create really interesting effects. I've got this image of a Buddha. I'm going to add some text. So I'm going to, let me set the color of the text to, let's say, white. I'm going to center it. I'll just click here in the center, and I'll type in Zen Garden. Okay, now this is too big, so I'm going to resize it a bit. Let's see, I'm looking for a big bold font. Could be an impact, looks good. Or what actually I'm going to use here will be the stencil. Now this is too big, so I'm going to resize that. 36 looks good. I'm going to resize the text. Quick tip for you: with the text tool selected, if your cursor is not within the text, you can hold the Control key or Command key on the Mac, and this changes temporarily into a move tool. So you can easily move the text. Okay, so make sure it's big and bold. The color doesn't matter. Now to give it more depth, I'm going to add a color layer effect to it. I'll start with the drop shadow, and I'll give it some drop shadow. I'm going to change the angle, and I'll reduce the distance and the size. Let's see, maybe a bit more. This looks fine. I'll just press OK. Now it's time to add a graphic. I'm going to place it directly into Photoshop using place command, so it becomes a smart object. File, place. No hassle with opening, copying, and pasting. I'm going to use this image of a landscape. Now make sure that when you import a graphic, the graphic is at least the size of your text or bigger than the text. Okay, in this case it's a bit bigger, but it's fine. You need to place it over the text so it overlaps the text. Make sure that the image layer is above the text layer, like in this case. I'm just going to accept that transformation here, and now we're going to clip it to the text layer. There's a number of ways to do it. The quick and easy way I use is to hold the Alt key on the keyboard and clicking in between the layers. You can see your cursor changes into this icon. Now you just click to clip the image to the text, and now you can see the image within the text layer. Now, because it's the image is on its own layer, I can grab my move tool and move the image around. I'm just moving the image, not the text. How cool is that? Okay. Very interesting fact, very nice to achieve. And the text, the image is on its own layer, so I can scale it at any time, resize it, reposition it, rotate it. And I can do the same with the text. I can replace this text by adding some other text. Let's say instead of Zen Garden, I'll do Sai Training. Okay. And the image is still here. And here's how you use the clipping masks in Photoshop to fill the text with images. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. This was the tutorial in Photoshop. I hope you enjoyed it. Now we're almost done. We're running out of time, I'm afraid. But I'm going to have more tips, tricks and tutorials for you next week. Now it's time for our tip of the week. And this tip of the week is in Lightroom. Okay. Here's a quick keyboard shortcut for you. There's a quick and easy way to access the Painter tool in Lightroom. And the keyboard shortcut is Shift-Alt on your keyboard. On the Mac, Shift-Alt or Shift Option. That's why you can quickly access the Painter tool with the last setting you used, because as you remember from previous episode when I showed you the Painter tool, you can paint different properties within Lightroom. So it's Shift-Alt. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk, and I hope to see you next week on another episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. Thank you for watching. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week on the next episode. Bye bye.